Here's an idea. Actually, I don't have one. 250 is a silver. 42 silvers don't even get me a level. You could make it a 250. Because at the very least it'd be closer to a level. 1,000 might be a bit much, but 250. Barely level. I'd still have to use tickets. And I'm still gonna end up needing to use tickets because there's a lot more IDs that need to be leveled than just the one. At least for me. Side tangent. Back in it. Okay, last year enduring too. So maybe I should do some swaps. The only issue is my stick in having Ryoshu's as is the one with. Can't believe that I keep forgetting this one isn't slash, and this one's slash, but it's also not bleed, so it doesn't work as well with the group. So we're back at levels 155 or 58. Yeah, we're going. I just don't know what group to even send in.
또 3번 수감자가 헛짓이라도 했나 보군.
Getting rid of ads.
이번엔 베어내죠.
아, 여기서 이런 공격이 잘 먹히는군요.
우리 식구를 건드렸겠다.
훌륭합니다. 아직 고쳐야
먹어 치워라.
산초! Shit.
집중해.
Double shit.
빗소리 속에 묻히도록. 업.
Sancho not dead. Will potentially be soon.
이것까지 당신 탓을 할 순 없겠군요. 설마 알고 맞게 하진 않았을 테니.
Okay, who can? Wait, what? For every attack skill of this unit that lost a clash this turn. Okay. Yeah, there's no way I do not have enough resources yet.
한번 터지게!
기대해라.
그간의 전투 경험이 쓸모가 없진 않았군요. 딴때
따뜻한
적합한 조치였습니다.
엎드리도록.
합격장.
그래, 그렇게 시원하게 처리하니 보는 맛이 나는군. 일 처리는 빠르게 하는 편이 덜 답답한 법이지.
이 각도와 속도, 정교한 궤적을 보고 떠올리시게.
God, I'm having issues. I don't think this team works for this. Granted, some of it's speed issues that I might just need to level.
소재는 망가졌고 영감은 이미 떠난 지 오래지.
But do I level this
적인
group?
기분은 참으로 오랜만이군.
Yep. Last time I at the very least won those clashes before. Since you're not winning these clashes, I don't think.
발레르모의 해체 감시. 세주. 시야.
그런 빙글빙글.
Yeah, it's a much weaker spot. And I'm still getting outsped. I don't want to use the Dante things. Am I actually gonna be kind of trapped here?
기꺼이.
틈을 끊어.
might get a stagger this round, or close to it.
뒤.
No, I think we might get a stagger. There it is.
골치 아픈 것
Ads are still here.
되었군요, 단테. 나쁘지 않은 성과입니다. 일기당천.
회풍.
대성공이야. 칼은 신나. 노래 부를까?
하나 넘고 둘 넘고 꺾고 제쳐라.
Oh? There he is.
뒷문이 있는 쪽을 저쪽에 빼앗겼어요.
He sees the back door side of the truck. Even if the portal opens, we can't. Doesn't change what needs to be done. We take care of him, get the bus early, head off to HQ. For fuck's sakes, we can't even fight full out. Despite Ryoshi's assurance, the sitters did not share her confidence that no harm would come to Charon. So they were confined to fending off the animated corpses, unable to fight aggressively. Ryosha was the only one unfazed enough to raise her sword against the assailant in this cramped battlefield. Bothersome little half-wit, arms straight, I said. How many times must I repeat myself?
도대체 몇 번을 말해야 알아쳐먹지?
Oh, stop making a fuss. It couldn't have hurt that much. On your feet, get off your ass. What makes you think you deserve a break?
뭘?
Quit being a whiny little brat. Pick up that sword. Slash straight. See? That wasn't so hard, was it?
한 번만 더 엄살.
If I ever hear you whining again, I'll rip your hair clean off your head. So get your act together.
너,
You.
이 검술에 대해
You're no stranger to this sword style.
좋습니다. 팔레르모. 저 또한
The Palermitan style, I have been trained in it as well.
발렌치나.
Did you learn it from
내
Valencina,
검술에 그놈에게
the
배웠나?
at Booze Hound?
그런 저속한
I must ask you not to insult her with such a crude epithet. My master gave me an order when she imparted the style to me, to temper and hone it until my mastery of it becomes indistinguishable from yours.
이제서 팔레르모. 검의 집에 있던 과학
My sword path is now on par with that of your past self when you still belonged in the House of Spiders.
검술을 배워
Learning
이해하는
it without
것도
understanding anything or only obsessively copying me.
그깟 흉내 내기를 위해
Wasting time over
시간을
such mimicry.
후습
It's beyond ridiculous.
모방뿐이라면
If you're no more than a copycat,
검어진 손목에 각
then that angle of wrist, the distance between the feet, the balance of the sword itself, every one of these has to be exact because even a single incongruity.
왜 처맞을 걸 알면서도
Are you actually that incompetent, or do you enjoy the beating? Maintain your stance. Don't bother your stupid little head trying to be clever, and just stick to what you've been taught. Take what you memorized and move. The sooner you become the blade that cuts through all, the better. Only then can I. Will break your form, making your swordmanship as precarious as a tightrope. Walk headed straight for a fall. Phew, you're no different from those wind-up dolls over there.
태엽 인형이어도 상관없습니다.
Call me a wind-up doll all you want. It doesn't matter.
또한
You, likewise, are unable to recall and properly wield the polymer Palermitan style. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Which tells me my usefulness has not yet run its course. I must perfect every form you've been taught, even though I must repeat the same stance 1,000 times, no 10,000 times over. If I am to be perfectly tailored textbook for you, what if I said I have no need for child to study aids? Your rejection is consequential. My role as your textbook has already begun. Then I will illustrate my very own art for you, until you're slashed and cleaved beyond recognition. Ah, damn, my eyes torn up again. Yep, I landed on the right place. That's my ticket, all right. I told you, Lucio. You could spend your years honing your skills, but that still won't be enough to catch up to our Yoshihide. The man staggered a little, his head jerking to the side from the impact of the blow. Isn't it obvious now that you've seen it yourself? How sad and pathetic your progress is. This is the problem with the greenhorns who haven't had a taste of the war. They don't know what it's like to crawl through the muck and grime of the battlefield where the slightest inattention gets your head blown clean off. When faced with a superior opponent, don't just rely on brawn, but redirect the force of their attack to the side, locking their arc with the tip of your sword. I've said it time and time again. And when you're outnumbered, lower your form, draw wide arcs with your sword. Did you forget anything I drilled into you after shouting myself hoarse? Secure a corner. Force them to get to you in a single file. Because positioning is everything. Didn't I tell you all of this before? If Yoshihide is recall, even one more lesson from me, the textbook can't afford to have any defects. Forgive me, Master. But you did manage to collect this one as instructed. Maybe you're not completely useless after all. Hatred thick in her voice, Ryoshu hissed from the nurse father under her breath as she shifted into a bladed drawing stance against an assailant. Hey, how have you been doing, Ticket? Your form's really become a wreck since you were away. Just seeing that sloppy grip makes me sigh. I have to beat that habit out of you. I had to beat that habit out of you back in the day, remember? Still, this reunion been a long time coming, so I suppose I owe you a bit of a courtesy. You're old enough now to understand what I'm saying without me having to resort to the occasional backhand, aren't you? Ticket? Still intent on calling me that, huh? Clearly you're still just a sad sack of shit stuck wallowing in a sinkhole of your own making. I like that Ryoshu's getting to talk and not just abbreviate all her insults. Did you just call me a sack of shit? Ah, bitch, you should know your place before barking at your betters. Sensing a sudden presence outside, the so-called dumb nurse father snatched Charon into her arm and swiftly assumed a fighting stance. Ooh. Ah, 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 we're all dead. We're all dead. We're all just dead. Manager Dante, it seems that I must apologize for what has happened today. Virgilus? I was stalled by my personal issues and a certain unresolved business from the past. You're hurt. They're not from these assailants, so don't worry needlessly. It just so happens that I was involved in a rather troublesome matter prior to encountering them. You know what? A little annoyed. This would have also been a cool intervallo to have. I'm a little down on the Arknights, the story thing, just because, one, as mentioned, I didn't finish it, but two, what I did play of it didn't sell me on Arknights and kind of didn't do anything for me Limbus wise. I played the Mirror Dungeon pack of it. Woo. So, if they're gonna animate a bunch of Virgil stuff, I think it'd be really cool to have a side story where you just control Virgil for it. And Virgil's the one fighting. And it might be a stomp, but it'd be fun. Little thing to do on the side. It's all my fault, Regis. I should have protected her. Zala's voice trembled as she apologized profusely to Virgilus. No, this happened because I couldn't stop him from going after you. And of course he had to go for your arm. That wound's looking worse by the second. Go get it treated, and at the moment we deal with this situation. I will. Virgilus met at the thumb Nurse Father's gaze head on. The thumb, the finger that makes up for their incompetence with duplicity and cowardice only to hide it all behind their mask of honor. You appeared exactly as we received the transmission that HQ Research Facility was under attack. Then your purpose here must be to stall me by any means, even if you have to resort to an old and tired method of, like, taking a hostage. Ha! Yes, the way that you're reacting to this, I nailed it! She's your cake. Remember, Ticket. Remember what I told you when you're so immodestly stuffed your face with that cake and smeared cream all over yourself? Smiling like an idiot in such filth makes me want to smash that cake to the floor. So don't you dare let on even a hint of craving for that cake while I'm looking, no matter how sweet and delicious it might be. What did I say, Ticket? What did I say? If you're going to start trouble, you better not show it on your face. Else I'll catch on. Stop fucking around and tell me straight. Tell me, why are you... And it's censored. Huh? You know what? Be like that. Keep mum and brood in silence all you want. That... bunch of sensors are rather static, actually. I'll find that, and I'll split. You're not getting past me. You think this eye is just for show. I wonder if that's... If anything... If... Pausing for a second. If the theory for... Ryoshu being... daughter to the Yoshihide from the book, and sort of not, or maybe even sort of like merging that character some bit, that Ryoshu was brought into the House of Spiders, becoming this trained figure, like how the daughter from the book was to be a lady in waiting, and met the Monkey Hide. I'm wondering if that Monkey Hide is what was sort of censored out there, the thing that Ryoshu cared for that was then potentially used against her as the cake, as Valencina put it. Well, Valencina, I don't know how much confidence you're putting in that eyeball, but I doubt you'll stall me for long with that half-functioning relic of yours. A trickle of blood had begun dribbling down on the intruder's cheek from her covered eye. Ah, this? But she grinned without a care. Oh yeah, it started hurting more and more the closer I got to Ticket. But it's gonna get better. Ticket's about to leave this place, you see. Shithead, you're not here to kill me, are you? Ha, shithead, rude bitch, have you forgotten all about manners? If Ryoshu learned about manners, I don't think she ever actually took care of, like, actually presenting and less forced. The woman seemed to have a hard time holding her hand back from striking Ryoshu. But after a few deep breaths, she visibly relaxed and continued on. Glad you finally figured that out. Now fuck off as soon as that back door opens. The other nurse fathers are waiting for you there, so show some proper manners. Or is it that brain of yours too messed up to remember who's who and which is which? Why don't you take this time to think of what you're going to say to them? Hey, hold on. If you're not gonna let us go anyway, why don't you let Chad on? Zip it. The Cloud's nurse father muttered viciously. I hate presumptuous idiots who don't know their place butting into conversations. Friends of yours ticket? Yeah. That's so. Then I don't suppose there's anything wrong with sending them all there. After all, why discourage a swarm of flies from flying straight into the web we've spun? Her eye fixed intently on Virgilus, the thumb nurse father slowly backed away from the back door and opened the way for us. The back door to the HQ hasn't opened yet. We have to rescue Charon first, then... Do not hesitate, Dante. That is indeed the path you must bring the sinners to. Virgilus continued coldly as though he was reading my mind. In fact, you should go through the back door like she says if you want to help Charon. This entire circumstance at the back door has been engineered to hold me, and only me, back. And what awaits beyond the back door is what they have orchestrated to summon you and the sinner number 4 there. Correct. I wouldn't want your dash of red to snip our elaborate web to pieces. Portal connection to the HQ almost established, but every firewall protecting connections to the HQ has been bypassed. What? Then it must be via the defenseless back door, or back doors through which the intruder had broken in. Portal connection to the HQ established. Coming with? If Faust goes, I'll be the only one left here who knows how to operate the back door or calibrator. I'll stay behind, at least until Mr. Virgilus rescues Charon. Then we'll go on ahead. As always, Ryoshu did not prolong the conversation. She did not bother to impart even a quick goodbye as she walked into the shadows that awaited us beyond the corridor. I gave Sot a nod in her stead. Dante. The fourth sinner's thread is pulled tautly. It is precariously close to snapping, but it is also sharper than any blade that it might sever all that it comes into contact with. You must remember that. What kind of thread is Virgilus talking about? Snapping, severing, I wasn't sure what exactly he was referring to, but it won't be severed, not when the chains bind us together. I replied absentmindedly, rubbing the area where the chains that connected me to the sinners had burst out of. Let us proceed, Dante. With Virgilus's words hanging heavily over us, we made our way into the back door connected into the HQ research facility. Whew. Lots there. Heath was the MVP there. Okay. Also, 50 was an insult. Getting silver and bronze is also a little insulting at this stage. Arriving at the LCE department. Boy, what in the... The sight that greeted us was nothing like we remembered from our last visit for the regular checkup. We were too late. Without HQ's reinforcements would be holding the line, or at the very least that I'd walk into a battle. Yet there was nobody left standing, much less making a run for it. All we could see were bodies slumped along the floor, filling the corridor in motionless silence. This is just awful. I never thought the ship would go down this badly. Faust, have you gotten any idea how many of the LCE are actually combat ready? The ego gears they wear are researched and extracted with combat purposes in mind. The LCE tends to encounter more combat tryouts and experiments compared to the other research-focused departments. The vast majority of its employees are required to have basic combat training pertaining to the aforementioned. As for the ego equipments, although the current research and extraction process may be sophisticated enough to see some considerable results in combat, it would seem that they were ill-equipped to handle a pre-planned ambush such as this. Bad chance these lab nerds could actually do anything in a real fight, let alone against the spiders out on the prowl. The memories came flooding back, the researchers jotting down our checkup results on piles of paper, and Hohenheim, with his droopy, tear-eyed eyes, leafing through the files. We'd barely exchanged goodbyes when he rounded up the burnt-out lab staff, who were already pulling their hair out from sheer level of stress, to oversee another experiment in progress. Marisol, if you happen to notice anyone who looks like Hohenheim, let me know ASAP. I've identified 3 bodies in various states that make immediate recognition challenging. However, their stature and attire makes it extremely unlikely that any of them are Hohenheim. From the looks of it, they probably didn't even get the chance to put up any meaningful resistance before they were killed. With a glum look in his eyes, Gregor examined the bodies strewn across the floor. Out of 32 bodies, 26 show identical physical trauma. Identical. Every one of them has a spiral-shaped perforation at the center of the chest over where the heart is. Their cause of death seems to be the same type of spiral weapon they are holding in their hands, Manager. These spirals, I think they pulled them out themselves, but why would... Soft. Richard cast her gaze down, quietly eyeing her palm. From the cryptic words and her contemplative look on her face, I could easily guess that she was taking a trip through the shadows of her past. Touching an invisible object with her palm and feeling its texture in search of something that should have been there in her hands. And I had been through enough to know that we would be revisiting her past together. However... What I witnessed was completely different from the memories of the other sinners I'd seen so far. This vision I saw was completely fragmented, as if a blade had cut up her memories into pieces. Within Ryoshi's memories, something did indeed rest in her palm, however, I couldn't even make out whether its hue was closer to black or white. It was some kind of food, a weapon, or something else entirely. Even the expression that crossed her face when she saw it, and the words that slipped from her lips in that moment escaped me. One thing I saw for sure, though, was that the person who was in all likelihood had given it to her was letting out a lazy puff of smoke, swirling into the air, watching Ryoshi's reaction in complete ease. I gazed back upon the cryptic scene of Ryoshi's memory that flashed before my eyes. Urshu, is there anything you remember? Saru. That name's all I can remember. You mean, as you've seen, Clock, my mind has been hacked to tatters. The sequence and the shapes, everything is in tangles. There is nothing I can explain about my memory. It seems we've gotten the gist of the situation. The worst case scenario here would be a breach from the outside happening while abnormalities, distortions, and Pectula break containment all at once. Well, now there's a situation I really don't even want to think about. We'd be fighting trespassers and all kinds of monsters broken loose? Precisely, that sums up our present circumstance. Right. Otis wasted no time in delivering the conclusion that kill everyone's morale.
순서대로 나열하자면
Let's start from the beginning.
1차적으로
First, the LCE department found itself under the attack by a group of unidentified hostiles 2 hours prior. The weapons used to massacre the researchers are not uniform. The victims appear to have been killed with various assortment of arms. My darling daughter, eyes on me when using straight weapons that leave the farthest reaching arcs. Eyes on me when using weapons that kill with the tiniest incisions. Eyes on me when using flexible weapons that crush anything that it make contact with.
그놈답게
What a tangled mess, just like that bastard. Hard to tell what kind of weapons were used here. Damn. Yoshu wiped her hair back, furrowing her brow in annoyance. Safe to say that the killer is adept with at least 3 different types of weapon.
다시 이어서 말하자면
Moving on, this was a surprise attack carried out without any delay whatsoever, and the LCE had no time to even plan a counterattack. It was, for lack of a better word, a massacre.
사실은 여기에
Now here's something that demands our attention. It appears the invaders had the abnormality containment units opened, only after they confirmed that the surprise attack had been carried out successfully. That sure is fishy. I mean, shouldn't it be the other way around?
먼저
Unlock the containment unit first, let the monsters wreak havoc through the facility, then swoop in during the chaos to finish off the stragglers. That'd be the easier course of action. Indeed, the enemy strategy is highly unusual.
이런 반칙적인
As for why they resorted to such an unusual method, there are 2 plausible explanations.
첫 번째로
Firstly, that the enemy may be compromised, a fighter skilled enough to forgo a diversion tactic. You mean there could be more who are as strong as the woman in the truck who kidnapped Charon? Secondly, that the enemy may have purposely unleashed the abnormalities from the cages as a follow-up measure. Follow-up measure? Aren't thou implying these villains sought to disguise their vile attack? No, the chance of cover-up is almost non-existent. Unless they had precise knowledge of the scavenger abnormalities that could devour the corpses clean, the enemy would never have left such identifiable wounds on their victims. It makes more sense that their goal was to delay HQ's main reinforcements and keep them from reaching the scene on time as we did. A delay tactic, I see. Maybe they were looking for something. Possibly, they must have had a specific objective in mind when they broke through. Which means whatever they're looking for should be here somewhere. Something elusive and so well hidden that they had to distract us just to buy themselves time. We need to hurry then. Odd, because I thought the main thing that they were actually looking for was Ryoshu herself. Oh, I'll fight. All familiar things to fight. Just an assortment. I could have sworn that. I mean, it's suggesting that the main thing that they were looking for was Ryoshu, but maybe there's something of Ryoshu's personal effects
감회가 새로워요.
that she took with her when she joined Limbus that maybe aren't directly on her person, that might maybe be at the HQ. Yoshi said she remembered the Daru. Wait, that was a thing she remembered. That's a different story. Okay, this is the end. Don't remember. They mentioned daughter. I don't know if they actually ever name the daughter. Cause I don't remember a name off the top of my head, but as this battle goes, I'm flipping through just to see if there's some additional detail.
지 목을 떨궈 주마.
Go back to the first mention of her.
사정없이 몰아칠 텐.
전투 감각 하나만큼은 수감자가 되어도 훌륭하긴 하군. 이제 그 도통 알아들을 수 없는 말투만 고치면 딱 좋겠어. 사원 수감자.
죽었네. 다음은
내 배가
어디로?
배고파했어. 잘 됐다. 그치?
No. Not finding a name, not even within the first mention of Yoshihide's daughter. She's mentioned as the daughter of Yoshihide and the girl. Nothing more, like, direct than that.
회풍.
So there, I remember there it being a creepy interaction that
대성공이야. 칼은
between the Lord and the daughter. Or at least I consider it creepy. The narrator kind of brushes off.
계속해도
바람
돼.
불어오는 대로 짓밟아라.
He presented her with a fine scarlet underrobe. They tell me? I'm fine doing that. They tell me his lordship was especially pleased when the monkey, imitating the girl's expression of gratitude, bowed low before him, holding the robe aloft, and so his lordship, partiality for the girl, was born entirely from his wish to commend her filial devotion to her father, and not, as rumor had it, from any physical attraction he might have felt for her. Not that suspicions were entirely groundless, but there will be time for me to tell you about that later. For now, suffice to say, his lordship was not the sort of person to lavish affections on the daughter of a mere painter, however beautiful she might be. So he's kind of denying, the narrator at least is denying, but underrobe
하나 넘고
in this content suggests like almost on the level of underwear. You don't. It's fine as it might be of material and like a nice quality gesture or quality gift. It's weird to give to someone you're not actively courting.
일기당천.
But how could he be a lord be courting a mere painter's daughter? Is probably the narrator's mindset. Not the weirdest thing that happens
바람
for her.
불어오는 대로
놈 또 안 알았다. 다음.